right, cool. So we're a few minutes after 3, so we'll go ahead and get going. I know time is money and it's Friday, so I don't want to waste a lot of time for everybody. I want you all to go out and start your fun weekend, right? So we're all here to get some great information about Air Force Honor Guard and the opportunities that they have, all the benefits that they have, the training that they get, the experiences they share. It's really one of the most amazing careers that you could do in the Air Force. And this is your opportunity to get some of that information from them firsthand. So we put together an amazing panel of individuals today, and I can't wait to hear everything that they're going to say, their experiences so far, and hopefully you all take something away from it. So first thing I'm going to do is pass it over to Chief Master Sergeant Healy. He's the 360th Recruiting Group Superintendent for some opening statement. And then from there, we'll get rolling. Floor is yours, Chief.
Hey, thanks, Sergeant Davis. Hey, I really appreciate you, first of all, to you for really putting this thing together. You saw the email, I'm sure, from Senior Taylor out there on the need for this program. We did something, recruiters, if you're not aware of this, we did something very different this year. We're not used to doing this. We are not used to being in the business and recruiting service of not goaling requirements out, right? You just like any other MAJCOM, you get a requirement at that level, no matter what the requirement is, you goal it out to the field. And there's quite a few things that we did not as a command goal out this year. One, to keep it off of your back. There's nothing back in the day, an EA recruiter used to have ELO. Back in the day, they used to have spec ops, they used to have special warfare, goals for everything. And quite frankly, some of you old hats on here might still remember that. I know that definitely Senior Taylor remembers that. And that's tough. Well, the AFRS took a risk this year. We took a risk in keeping some of those things at the command level. And so in that risk, you don't have everybody going after the same thing sometimes. So the fact that you see a need out there, Honor Guard's an amazing program. We needed to definitely find a way to get after this program since it's being held at that level, and put a light back on the program. So Sergeant Davis, thanks for taking this and running with it. I really appreciate your work there. And so we've got obviously six members out here from Honor Guard. That's really going to be the highlight of this call. And what better program than or better call than to recruit for your own career field. I mean, that's an amazing thing because you know what it takes. You want the best of the best, and to be able to talk about that program, really, my hat's off to you for that. And I'm gonna butcher a few of these. If I do, I apologize. Sergeant Levins, I believe we have. Sergeant Bolick, I may have butchered that one. Sorry if I did. Sergeant Ulrey, Senior Airman Yossi, sorry if I really butchered that one. A1C Oates and A1C Ross. And if I'm not mistaken, Sergeant Davis, you actually recruited Sergeant Oates or Airman Oates and Airman Ross. Is that accurate?
Yes, sir. 2 of the best.
How cool is that? This is a good Friday. That's pretty cool. So, hey, to all 6 of you, first of all, I know you've got probably, I'm sure, more important things to be doing today. Really appreciate you taking some time out of your schedule to spend with us so that we can help get you what you need, quite frankly, and help get you the best of the best. And that's really what we want to do. So thank you for that. I'm going to have to drop off here in a minute. I've got another call I got to get on. But what Sergeant Davis is going to do, he doesn't know this yet, but he's going to give me some addresses for all 6 of you because I want to go ahead and virtually coin all 6 of you on here. And as they say, the check's in the mail. We'll get this to you. And on behalf of the command, AFRS, and on behalf of almost 1,000 people from the men and women of the 360th Recruiting Group, I want to thank you, Presented for Excellence, for everything that y'all are doing. And hopefully we can, quite frankly, you're helping us out, but we're really hoping we can repay the favor, help you out by sending you some just really sharp airmen who want to be Honor Guard. So thanks for what you're doing. And I'll give back to you, Sergeant Davis. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on, Chief. We appreciate it.
Betcha.
Yeah, definitely. You all are out there doing amazing things. And a lot of people this week seen so much of your amazingness on TV with the inauguration, right? So we're excited to be able to point y'all out to everybody that's going to watch this video and so they can see the things y'all are doing out there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going ahead and pass it over to Sergeant Levins. He's going to introduce himself, and then he has an awesome slideshow he's going to share. After that, we're going to roll into some firsthand experiences from the panel, and then we'll go open to questions. So if anybody has questions, please type them in the chat so we can answer them at the end. And then besides that, make sure your mics are on mute and we'll get rolling. All right, Sergeant Levens, floor is yours.
All right, I really appreciate it. Thank you, Chief Healy and Sergeant Davis, for putting this together. If you bear with me 1 second, I'll get the slideshow up here. All right. Oops. All right, so this slideshow is really geared towards the DEPers. It's a lot of good information about the Honor Guard, specifically targeting the people in the DEP program currently. But I understand we have a lot of recruiters on with us, so this is definitely good information for y'all as well. I'd like to start off with a short video clip. All right, so that was a little bit of a taste of what the Air Force Honor Guard does, just a small part of it. If you'd like to see that full video, just go onto YouTube, search USAF Honor Guard Drill Team, and it'll pop up as one of the results. It's a fantastic video of the drill team performing at I believe it's near the Jefferson Memorial in Washington, D.C. on the mall there a few years ago. So I'd like to start off by just introducing the panel here. We've got myself, Staff Sergeant Robert Levens. I'm the NCOC of recruiting for the Honor Guard. I'm not a recruiter. I'm a ceremonial guardsman. I just handle all the people coming into the Honor Guard from E1 to E7, and I also assist with the senior NCOs and officers as well coming into the unit. We also have Staff Sergeant Jack Ulray, Staff Sergeant Greg Bullock, Senior Airman Schleicher, Senior Airman Yassi, A1C Oates, and A1C Ross. So what we're going over today, the mission of the Air Force Honor Guard, technical training, life in the Honor Guard, qualifications for entry into the unit, and how to apply. So our mission, the mission of the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard is to represent airmen to the American public and the world. The vision of the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard is to ensure a legacy of airmen who promote the mission, protect the standards, perfect the image, and preserve the heritage. All ceremonial guardsmen of the U.S. Air Force Honor Guard have the responsibility of representing the United States and the Air Force in a variety of ceremonies conducted throughout the National Capital Region, including ceremonies at the White House, Pentagon, National Mall, Arlington National Cemetery, and the Sacred Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The U.S. Air Force Honor Guard also travels across the country representing the Air Force at hometown events, high schools, and some of the biggest professional sporting events across the country. Like I said, one of the biggest things that we do are parade missions. This is a picture of the Honor Guard performing at the Macy's Day Parade a number of years ago. Personally, I've been at the IPL 500 Festival Parade. That's the festival that goes along with the Indy 500 race. I've also been to Portland. The Honor Guard has also traveled to New York, Georgia, Boston, Chicago, as well as the drill team has traveled across the world to the Edinburgh Royal Military Tattoo and to Monaco a few years ago. All right, so technical training school at the Honor Guard is conducted for E1 through E6. So the incoming NCOs will go through the same thing that E1s coming out of basic training are going through. It's 8 weeks long. There are 4 blocks of drill. It consists of a lot of uniform preparation and maintenance and learning how to wear the uniform properly and maintain it. A little bit of memory work about the history, the Honor Guard charge, as well as some physical training and some mock Air Force PT tests as well. Life in the Honor Guard consists mostly of element training when we're not performing missions or ceremonies. Depending on which element you go to, you will be training and perfecting that role in the ceremony that each element performs. Like I said, uniform preparation and maintaining the standards is a big part of the Honor Guard. A lot of physical training as well. Physical training is part of our duty day, especially for the pallbearers. Got to stay strong and be able to perform at the best of our ability. Family life in the Honor Guard. We do have a culture of family here in the unit with the people that you work directly with on a daily basis, as well as the unit as a whole. We definitely treat everybody like a family. A lot of college opportunities around the area. There are about 23 brick and mortar schools across the region. Additionally, there are opportunities to take online college courses. The unique opportunity that the Honor Guard has is that there are no what you call CDCs or career development courses associated with the Honor Guard at this time. So in most career fields, when you graduate from tech school and are assigned at your first duty station, you have to go through what are called your CDCs, which is learning your career field and learning your job. And they don't usually let you take college courses at that time. In the Honor Guard, as soon as you graduate from tech school, you can start taking college courses at any college online that will accept you. And if you choose to go to an in-person school, there are many opportunities around the area for that as well. The location of the Honor Guard, obviously, Washington, D.C. Is a large metro area. Lots of things to do. There are so many museums, parks, events going on all the time. Obviously, not with the COVID situation, but under normal circumstances, there is not a shortage of opportunities to have activities around the area. So it's definitely a great place to live and raise a family if you have a family at this time or not. All right, so getting into the qualifications for entry, I just want to go over a few of these. No physical disqualifiers to include history of posture, back, knee, feet, or joint or equilibrium problems. So 20/20 vision or correctable via contact lenses. We require this because you're not allowed to wear eyeglasses in formation during a ceremony in the ceremonial uniform. So we need to have all of our members have vision correctable to 20/20 via contact lenses. And since we require this, our supply section does issue contact lenses if you have a valid prescription at no cost to the member. Must present impeccable military image and conform to exact and grooming standards at all times. So this includes no shaving waivers. For males, if you experience razor bumps or breakout in the neck area and require a shaving waiver, that is something that we cannot entertain here. We have to be clean shaven at all times while in the ceremonial uniform, so that's why we cannot have shaving waivers. No fear of firearms or have a history of anxiety or emotional issues or nervous system disorders to include post-traumatic stress disorder. This has to do with during the ceremony, a military funeral, we fire 3 volleys with the M14 rifle. Obviously it's a blank, but it will make the same noise as a live round. That's why we cannot have any fear of firearms for any of our members. Ability to speak clearly and distinctly with no speech impediment. A lot of times you might find yourself in a situation talking to some high-ranking members of the military and the civilian government. So we need our members to be able to speak clearly and distinctly, as well as during some of our ceremonies. We have a number of narrators that oversee ceremonies as well. So we have to have our members be able to speak clearly. Must be active duty, no Guard or Reserve. If you're looking at entering the Guard or Reserve, we don't have any Guard or Reserve spots at the Honor Guard, so you must be active duty. And this is the big one. Minimum height requirement for males is 5'10", 5'6" for females. That is not waiverable, and it's probably one of the biggest disqualifiers for our interested members. This has to do with having a uniform looking formation. So if we have members that are 5 foot or 6'3", 6'4", it's going to not look uniform. So we have to have a good average height throughout the formation. And that's why we also have the maximum height for 6'6" for all members. We did have an individual that was 6'5", 6'6" when he entered the honor guard, and he was 18 at the time. He ended up growing a couple more inches and just stuck out of every formation. So he actually could not perform any ceremonies any longer because he was just too tall. That's why we put the maximum height at 6'6". And here's a good representation for that height. Has to be an average height across all the services as well. That's why we require that height requirement. So how to apply if you're interested, your recruiter, you can work with your recruiter and they'll build an application for you to send to the honor guard recruiting team, mostly myself. They consist of, the only thing really DEPers have to do for the application is write a small 2 to 3 paragraph essay about why you want to join the honor guard, what you have to offer, that kind of thing. Formatting, not really important, just 2 to 3 paragraphs about want to hearing from you. The honor guard will contact you to set up a 20 to 30 minute interview. It'll be conducted over Zoom. The interview topics, questions that you'll be asked about your fitness, your leadership experience, maybe some of your goals for personal or maybe your career, Air Force career, that kind of thing. And then we will convene a selection board where we will talk about the interviews, how they went, and make our selections from those. One additional fact, and I think this is one of the hottest topics for applying to the honor guard, members that are selected will get to select their #1 choice of qualified follow-on job. So the job that you go into after completing a 3-year tour will be yours guaranteed, your #1 job. So if there's a highly competitive career field that you wish to get into that might not have a lot of opportunity or class dates throughout the year, something like X-ray tech or fire protection or something like that, you can choose that if you're qualified for it, and that will be your job upon completion of the 3-year tour. So that's a big point that I'd like to make there. So the only thing I have for you is this for you, and do you have what it takes? I also like to point out there are some great videos on YouTube if you just want to search USAF Honor Guard recruiting video. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. USAF Honor Guard recruiting video and a USAF Honor Guard technical training that really dives into each section of the Honor Guard, each element, what they do, what their job is, as well as what technical training is like. A little bit of glimpse into that life for anybody that wishes to see that. All right, so I'd like to open it up to the rest of the panel. I'll just start off if nobody has any questions. Like I said, I'm Staff Sergeant Robert Levins. I've been in the Air Force little over 6 years now, almost 7 years. And I was an air traffic controller for my first assignment. And I came to the Honor Guard as a fresh staff sergeant. And I started off as in the pallbearer element, carrying the caskets at Arlington National Cemetery. And it's been really a huge honor and very humbling experience to do that. I was a little bit hesitant going into that element at first. I wasn't real strong. I wasn't big into weightlifting, but they trained me up. I worked hard and I became proficient at it. And I'm definitely glad that I worked hard and pushed myself to become the best pallbearer that I could be. I was then assigned to the training flight and given the responsibility of recruiting all of our new members into the unit. And that's where I'm at now. If so Sergeant Taman said, yeah, there's no exceptions for height waivers or anything like that. So for the recruiters, the height, you have to go off of what the members are measured at MEPS. So measuring them in your office is not really acceptable. After they go through the MEPS screening, use that information from their medical physical to fill out that application. So if Staff Sergeant Jack Ulray, do you want to get on here and talk about yourself a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sergeant Blevins. So my name is Staff Sergeant Jack Olray. I'm actually the NCOIC of technical training here at the Honor Guard. So once you guys and gals get accepted into the Honor Guard, you're going to come through my program. Basically, all it is to kind of transition you from becoming an airman, and now we're going to turn you into ceremonial guardsmen. And it's not an easy task. It's challenging. It's going to demand a lot. And in my program, we're going to push you to your limits. We're going to make you find your threshold. And you're going to find out just how tough you can really be. It's nothing like any special operations stuff or anything else like that. So don't let that turn you away. It's just, we want to make sure that you guys know, like, if you put your mind to it, how far you can go. Because that's the main thing. Anytime that you're in the Air Force or anywhere that you're at in your career, it's a matter of your mentality is going to take you as far as what you think it's going to go. I've been in for 12 and a half years now. I started out as a laboratory technician in the medical field. It's not one of what I picked. I actually wanted to go fire protection. So I came in open general. I was a firefighter beforehand, and they had all my certs and everything. And they put it in my file, and they're like, this is the best that we can do for you. So I went into the Air Force, got through basic, came in open general, ended up getting medical laboratory technician. I had no clue what it was. Obviously, well, apparently it was a pretty high demand job. It was hard to get technicians in there, and it was hard to keep them in there just because they're paid so well on the outside. So as far as me cross training, it was really, really difficult. I ended up being in that career field for 9 years before they gave me the opportunity to DSD, since I was a staff sergeant, to DSD into the Honor Guard. And I took that DSD as an opportunity to go ahead and try and my luck at cross training again. So I finally got it secured now that once I get done with this tour, I'm actually going to go into the fire protection program. So I finally got my job that I wanted. It just took me a long time. I had to go the long way around. It's another little lesson that I would like you guys to learn. If you want something, you got to keep on reaching for it. And that's part of what our program is going to teach also. It's really, really good to help you grow as an airman and as a person. And it's probably the best job for right now for me. I started out as a pallbearer, but I think being part of the technical training school is one of the most rewarding jobs, because I actually get to see these airmen come in fresh, brand new, and then watch them grow into experienced ceremonial guardsmen. And it's amazing just how much growth you see in a short amount of time. So, but that's basically my little my spiel. Once again, I look forward to seeing whoever comes through, and hopefully you guys get to learn a lot from me and my instructors. So, and then after that, I think we'll go ahead and have Airman Schleicher come in. Airman Schleicher is actually one of my instructors also. So we'll go ahead and have her talk about her perspective from an airman point of view.
All right, everyone, I'm Senior Airman Schleicher. Hope everyone's doing good. So I just want to start off by saying that I came here straight from basic training. So if you guys join, you'll have joined the same way that I did. I was 18 when I got here, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I was straight out of my parents' house. Flash forward now, 3 years later, I'm a training instructor, and I get to actually train the people who are going to be ceremonial guardsmen and teach them how to do it. 3 years ago, I started out in firing party. I was there for 8 months. I got to do a lot of cool jobs, a few active duty funerals for people coming back from deployments, a lot of honor funerals for people that are passed away and have been buried at Arlington National Cemetery, which is our main mission, is to honor people in Arlington National Cemetery. One of my biggest jobs that I got to do that I'm really proud of was the Bush funeral. I got to be on the cordon for that. So just because you are in a job in the Honor Guard, like firing party or bears, we have these big jobs that come up, like the inauguration and the Bush funerals and transfers. There's a lot of really cool opportunities that you get when you come to a job like this. That being said, when you come through training, we're going to push you. It's nothing impossible. You're going to feel like it's hard. You're going to feel like you can't do it, but we're not going to break you. We are just trying to show you what you can do by pushing you harder when you get here. And that's my job, and Sergeant Alray's job is to do that. So when you guys come through tech school, if you get picked up for honor guard, we're going to push you. We're going to give you amazing opportunities. If you can get through the training, all you got to do is get through the days and just remember why you're going to be here. So if you want to be an honor guardsman, my advice to you is to really remember and have a good reason to want to be here, because you're going to be put in front of a lot of high vision. If you're being put on TV, that's an opportunity. You're going to be put in places like this. I'm a senior airman. I'm having to talk to all of you people and tell you why I love my job and try to see if we can get more amazing people into this job. And things like that, I don't think you get to do at a lot of other jobs. So it's a very special place, and a lot of people here care a lot about this job. So we want to make sure that we're only getting the best here. We don't want anything less. Some pros for this job. You travel, obviously right now because of COVID, it's a little restricted. For some people, this is a pro, you don't deploy. So if you have families, that's a really nice thing. When I got here, I was 18 and I didn't have a family. Flash forward now, I have an 11-month-old daughter, so it's very nice now that I get to spend time with her. This job is super friendly to people who have families. They're very open. There's good supervision here, good leadership who can really understand your situation. Some cons for this job is really hard on your body. So that's why we get a lot of young kids here, a lot of 18, 19-year-old people, because all you're doing all day for a long time is marching in Arlington for miles. You're going to be standing. It's going to put a lot of pressure on your body. So make sure that you are in good shape if you want to come to a job like this. It's a very demanding physical job, and it can be very demanding mentally as well. So just make sure you're ready for that if you want to come to something like this. And that's pretty much my experience here in the Honor Guard, actually. I don't know who the next person is who needs to talk.
I think we can have Senior Airman Yossi come up. Senior Airman Yossi, are you ready to come up?
Yes, sir. So as Sergeant Levin said, I'm Senior Airman Yossi. I came here straight out of BMT. I joined in 2018, so I've been here for a little over 2 years now. I joined, made it through tech school, went to the pallbearers element, was on pallbearers for about 6 to 8 months. Can't remember exactly. It was a great time. Got really strong. Actually, I came here, I was like 150 pounds, and I put on a lot of weight and a lot of muscle because caskets are pretty heavy, but it was a great experience. I actually transferred over to drill team, and that has been by far one of the best experiences of my life. Just getting to do performances for all types of people, greeting people afterwards, hearing their stories. I actually had no JROTC experience, so it's not mandated. It definitely helps. I was very slow at learning it, but we have amazing trainers, and we drill for about 6 hours. It can vary per day, 6 hours per day, but it's an amazing experience. I've TDY'd to Texas, Mississippi. I went on the Indy 500 parade to New York. I've gone to a lot of places. COVID has slowed it down a little bit, but that's not going to be forever, hopefully. And but just to get to do these experiences and these jobs, like, I don't know any other career that is even close to this. Some other things, along with drill team, just kind of, there are some long days. I mean, we have so you'll complete tech school, and then for drill team, we have team training, which is another 2-month course, just learning how to perform and throw the advanced movements that we do. There's tons of videos on YouTube of just kind of our performances, and we have more complex manuals. So just getting proficient at those. I was very scared of it at first, but just you get more and more comfortable the more you do it, and I'm almost fully qualified now. So I'll pass this over to whoever's next.
And real quick, just to answer the question from Adrian, do applicants who have JROTC experience have any priority? I wouldn't say they have priority in our interview process. That will come up. And we will take that into consideration if you have any JROTC experience. Obviously, that'll get you, give you a little bit of help learning our manuals when you come through. But we won't necessarily give you priority. But like I said, we will take it into account when we do our interviews. We want to have up a couple of our very new people. If we want to have Airman Oates talk about herself a little bit, I'll pass it over to you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amos C. Oates. I joined the military August 25th. I went to basic, and I came straight out of basic to the honor guard. So I've been in for about 5 months. And basically, my tech school experience was the same as my basic experience. You just got to learn how to work with a team because you're not going to get through it by yourself. It's very hard, like Airman Schleicher said, it's very hard on your body, and it takes a lot out of you. But the reward afterwards and walking across the stage and getting your certificate of graduating is really rewarding. And I'm in colors right now. I'm just learning the basics of colors, and soon I'll be able to go into jobs. And I can't wait for that. But so far, you know, I really like the honor guard, and I think it's a great opportunity. And I'm gonna start getting my degree soon. And I just think it's a great opportunity for others to join in. But I don't want you to come in here thinking that the job is easy, because it's really not. But it's rewarding, but it's not easy. Nothing about this job is easy. But you get to meet new people. I think it's a great thing that we don't deploy, because I just joined and I don't know anything about deploying or anything like that. So it helps me, like, how do you say, like, get to know the Air Force and before I go out and deploy and stuff. So I think that's really cool. And I think it's cool that whoever comes in next, the next class comes in February 5th. I believe they come in the next tech schooler. So I think that's exciting, because I just got tech school. So it's good to see other people who do the same thing I do. But I've only been in for about 5 months, so I don't really have that much experience. But I just think that if you come in here, just be prepared to push yourself. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Airman Oates. Can we have Airman Ross come up, please?
How's everyone doing? A1C Ross. Joined the Air Force back in 2020. Went to BMT June 23rd. Came to tech school August 14th. Just talking about tech school a little bit. Tech school was definitely challenging. Airman Schleicher was actually my lead instructor. She definitely pushed us. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. I came in not knowing a lot about honor guard, prior to BMT, I didn't know a whole bunch about honor guard. Did my research, saw that there was a drill team, firing party, colors, and pallbearer. And as soon as I seen pallbearer, I was just like, that's the element that I want to do. That's what I want to be. So coming here, that's what I worked for. Because again, tech school is challenging. There's mornings you're not going to get up. There's mornings where you just don't think that you can actually do it. But once you have that goal set in mind, as I did, to become a pallbearer, and after graduating and then being welcomed into the pallbearer element, it was the greatest feeling ever. I'm still fairly new. I've only had about 15 jobs, so I'm still only on my pause queue. Hopefully after COVID and everything goes back to normal and we're training, I could test for my standards and so on. So far in an honor guard, there's definitely not the words I'm looking for, sorry. There's definitely a lot of downtime, and being in pallbearer, you kind of want to stay on top of your game, as well as strengthening yourself, conditioning. So how I kind of like to look at the job is you get paid to work out for the most part. So just maintaining your body, maintaining your physique, and then also keeping up on your movements and your cues. Because even though you're training to be stronger, you want to grow, you need to make sure that you remember everything, because there's a lot of steps in the pallbearer element as well. So I just want to talk about my first job. Actually, my first job, it was a rainy day. It was gloomy, and I had a bunch of nerves. And I remember sitting in the van, and there's myself and Aaron Mack, and I was pretty nervous. And Senior Ammon Smith, who just told us like, hey, calm down, take a deep breath, relax. You know what you're doing, and it's true. Like you know what you're doing. And so it was a great funeral service. But then after that, there's always something else to learn. You know, you don't know everything. Not everyone knows everything, but you can ask, because here I honestly feel like we're a family, because you know everyone's pushing you to be better, and it's before here I'd say this is probably like the best job like I ever had. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me, my experience here so far. I can't wait to learn, grow more, move on to better things.
All right, thank you, Aaron. Ross. Sergeant Bullock, you want to come back to us and talk a little bit about yourself too?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Sergeant Bullock. I came here DSD just like Sergeant Levins and Sergeant Olray, and I initially in 2017, February.
Hey, Sergeant Bullock.
Yeah.
I think there's something wrong with your microphone.
Can you guys hear me now?
It's very quiet.
What about now?
Same thing.
Yeah, it's still quiet. Try and see if you can turn up volume or whatnot. I don't know if it's going to help. I don't know how we're going to fix that. If you got a headphone with a mic set, that might help you.
I don't.
I can hear him just fine.
Or if you just want to try to talk a little louder, then well, you can continue that.
Okay, can you guys hear me a little better now?
Yes.
Yep, you're
Hey,
good.
Charlie.
All right. So yeah, I'm Sergeant Bullock. I got here in February 2017. I was DSD like Sergeant Olray and as well as Sergeant Levins. I started out in the pallbearers element, where I was there for about a little over a year. I got fully qualified. I was in charge of training. I actually did a lot of very, very cool missions, as well as going to Arlington and carrying caskets there. I was able to go to Puerto Rico and do the funerals for the 7 active duty members who died in the C-130 crash in Georgia. I want to say it was a cool job, but it was a very humbling and honorable thing that I was able to do, and that was probably the highlight of my honor guard career, which is saying a lot because I've done a lot of cool things like TDYs too, Indianapolis, the Macy's Day Parade, things like that. It's just being a pallbearer and doing funerals in Arlington is just a very humbling experience, and I'm really happy that I got to be a part of it. After I was in the pallbearers, I was actually in training flight, and I was a training instructor as well as in charge of the base honor guard program across the entire Air Force, which was challenging, dealing with that, but another very humbling experience because you get to deal with so many different people and make a lot of great friends. I was actually Senior Airman Yassi's tech school instructor when he came through, and now I'm his supervisor in the drill team. So yeah, after I was in training flight for about a year, I went to drill team, and I was in drill team training with Senior Airman Yassi, and drill team training is tough, very physically demanding, just because of the fact that you have to, doing a 20-minute drill performance is extremely difficult if you're not in shape. So in drill team training, you do a lot of physical fitness for the first few weeks just to make sure that you're in shape, and then a lot of drill after that. As of now, I'm on my way out the door. I actually got all my household goods picked up today, so I'm sitting in a house full of boxes, but Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I've loved my honor guard experience, and if I could do it again, I definitely would. It's been awesome. So that's all I have, Sergeant Levens.
All right, if anybody has any questions, please type them in the chat there, or if you'd like to or are comfortable with talking to us, we'd definitely like to hear your voice and see your faces a little bit. Otherwise, yeah, we'll open up to some questions now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pass it to Sergeant Wilson. He has some questions for y'all he's gonna ask, and then he'll answer any questions from the chat box. So Sergeant Wilson, if you want to go ahead and take the floor.
Thank you. I'm Sergeant Wilson. I'm from 317th Recruiting Squadron, and Sergeant Davis actually asked me to help with this. So I actually want to start by saying thank you to all the panel members taking time out of your day to come answer questions and give some insight on Honor Guard, not only to DEP members and potential applicants, but to us recruiters as well. One question is, how wide is your Honor Guard AOR, and what is your work schedule like? And it can be answered by anybody.
Jack, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so as far as our area of responsibility, our main area is anywhere within the national capital region. But we do reach out to other places, especially when we do parades. We travel all over the states. If you're part of T-Flight, we do things called MTTs, where we send people, instructors out to different base honor guards and everything else like that around the world to help train their instructors and stuff like that, make sure everything is going the way it's supposed to accordingly. As far as a normal work day right now with COVID, as Airman Ross said, it's pretty low key. There's a lot of downtime. As soon as this pandemic stuff clears up, it's a very, very high paced job. You're talking, your days can range anywhere from 8 to 12-hour days. When we were doing the inauguration, of course, our inauguration day, I was part of that. So I was out there on Wednesday marching. Our day started really early in the morning. It ended up being like a 13-hour day. And then the day before that, the Monday when we practiced, that ended up being a 13 to 14-hour day. You know, so it just depends on the mission and what you do. But to be honest with you, the normal 8-hour day is more typical until we get the high profile jobs, then it kicks off.
Yeah, like you said, they can be some long days, but those days you're a part of history at that point. Just like you said, he was part of the unit that marched as part of the presidential escort for our new president, and that's, like I said, that's a part of history. I've been a part of arrival ceremonies for the Prime Minister of Australia, other European countries leaders, the Secretary of Defense, the counterparts for other countries. So it's definitely you're in it and you're part of it. So it's definitely a big rewarding experience, even if those days can get kind of long. So anybody else want to chime in on that question?
For me being new, I'm getting my cues to qualify for colors. So usually we start at 8 and then we'll go out to lunch at like 12 or 11:30 to 1, and then we'll come back and we'll finish around 4 or 3, but we'll PT at the end. So that's what my days look most of the times. And you're not really, when you're new, you're not really like chilling. You're trying to qualify and know your cues, and your supervisor always wants to do stuff with you. So my days are pretty long, but not that bad though.
Awesome, thank you.
And then, sorry, I'd like to add on going with the pallbearer element as well. Morning, usually up around 5 if you're trying to prepare. In the mornings, first half, you're usually just training, doing some box work, flag folding. And then you break for lunch, and then you'll go work out in the gym. That's how it used to be. But right now we're just working out on our own, but hopefully we go back to that soon.
And the pallbearer element does have their own gym that we use in our facility. It's in-house. It's just a weightlifting section. It's all custom equipment, and it's pretty awesome that we have our own little area to work out and lift weights in.
So go ahead.
So as Airman Ross said, so when he says box work, it's casket training and how to carry the casket and steps and things like that. So it's referred to as the box here in the honor guard. But just to hit on a normal drill team training day before COVID, we would go to PT from 7 to 8, be to work by 9, and we would train until about 1600, 1630, while breaking for lunch at about 12.
So the next question comes from eligibility. Are persons who hold green cards allowed to apply for honor guard?
Right. So one of our requirements is you have to be a U.S. citizen. That has to do with a clearance. So you need to hold at least a secret clearance to enter into the honor guard. That is one of our basic requirements as well. The reason for that is we do jobs at the White House, and we need to have a certain credential to do jobs at the White House. So U.S. citizenship is required. Green card is not going to do it for our requirements here, or the Army's requirements for the White House jobs.
So a question that we got from Adrian, I'm sorry if I butchered your last name, but Loera. Where are you stationed at again, and what are the living conditions like for single airmen?
So we're at the, oh, go ahead. Yep, Airman Notes, go.
So we're stationed in DC right now. I'm single, and we live in dorms after tech school. Unless you're married, you get buy a house or something with your spouse. But after tech school, you're living in dorms. We were told to be there for about 6 months. After 6 months, you can find a house on base with roommates in your elements or whoever you graduated tech school with. But right now, we live in the dorms. And after that, you can move wherever you want. But you're supposed to live there for a certain amount of time until you're financially ready to move out and be on your own.
Like she mentioned, yeah, after about 6 months, airmen usually move out of our dorms. That's usually because of the space. The dorm isn't actually that big as far as the whole building. So that's why we have to process our new airmen out of the dorms rather fast. In most other career fields in the Air Force, at a first duty station, you're probably going to end up living in the dorms for maybe 2 to 3 years before you can even are eligible to move out. So it's quite a bit faster to get out of dorm housing and into a little bit more better living situation at the honor guard. So that's another perk that we have here.
Sounds like a great perk. I think we have time for one more question. So how has honor guard impacted your personal and professional life?
So I'll take this one. As far as the personal aspect, well, it's going to go hand in hand for me. So personal and professional. Coming in as a brand new airman, I wasn't really much of a troublemaker, I'd say, but I definitely didn't have the finesse when talking to leadership on, like, if they did something wrong or I didn't agree with them. I would kind of openly state it, and it would get me in trouble sometimes. I still do it from time to time, but there's a more tactful way I've come about it. And that's anywhere as far as my personal life goes. That's the way I am. I've always been honest to a fault, I guess you could say. But I have learned how to be more respectful in stating opinions and respecting other people's opinions at the same time. But also, not only that, but trying to figure out their point of view before I make any sort of, rash, decision or idea. In the light of being in the Air Force, being in the honor guard has taught me a lot about leadership. A lot. There have been, you figure we handpick the people that come here, and that includes the NCOs that are here. So finding a mentor is so easy. in the honor guard, and finding a good mentor is even easier because they're all handpicked. So they have something to offer one way or another. It's whether or not you're going to take the opportunity to ask them the questions and ask the right questions and actually learn from those people. I always tell anybody that comes through, especially our NCOs, whenever I do what's called a lateral prep course, we teach the NCOs 2 days ahead of time of the class. And I talk to them, and the main thing that I tell them is, one, you're going to forget the golden rule. You're always going to, the reason for that is golden rule is treat others the way you want to be treated. I recently went through a leadership course, and they came up with what's called the platinum rule, where you learn how others want to be treated. So it's not how you want to be treated, but how that person that you're going to be teaching or leading or whatever wants to be treated. They're going to respond way better to you, and also forces you to get to know your people. And then also I've learned that, trying your hardest, if you do your very best, then there's no limit to what you can accomplish. But also be respectful of the people that you know. And it doesn't matter if you're a brand new airman or a seasoned sergeant or an officer. There's always room to learn, and there's always lessons to learn from people. It doesn't matter what their rank is. So definitely helps you grow as a person and a leader.
Yeah, I kind of want to hit on that as well. Personally, being here has really helped. It's helped me gain a lot of great relationships because you work so closely and so close knit with your coworkers that they almost become family to you. And I've made some of the best friends that I have just from being here. Including Sergeant Olray. Like we've always done stuff together, and we've played poker with all of our bear friends when we were in bears together, and still go fishing. You're so close knit with everyone that I think it's a great work environment for everyone, as long as you make it a great work environment and get along with people that you work with.
Thank you. We did have one quick question come in. Do you all receive special duty pay?
So we don't currently, no, we do not receive special duty pay. I know Jack's laughing at that, but there are, and I'm not involved in this. I don't want to, say too much, but I have heard that is in the works, that we may be receiving special duty pay soon. Depending on what your job is in the unit, it might be more or less. But again, that's just rumors of what I heard. I'm not involved in that personally. So if any of the other NCOs have any more insight, please touch on that a little bit more.
So yeah, Sergeant Levens is right. And it is in the works. Don't know when it's actually going to come into play, but if that's going to be like a determining factor, I don't think it would be for most people, but if it is a determining factor on whether you want to come here or not, one, it wouldn't be the right way of thinking, but two, there's also, it kind of makes up with it with the experiences that you have. You go on TDYs and everything else like that, you get per diem, you make money while you're out there. And as long as you're smart with your money when you're on a TDY or something, you're going to end up with extra cash in your pocket one way or another. Not only that, they do provide the uniform items as far as ceremonials go, but sometimes you do have to reach in the pocket to get some of the other stuff that you need. But ultimately, it's going to be up to you as a person and an individual on like how dedicated you want to be to it. And so,
and talking a little bit more about special duty pay, big picture stuff. SDAP was what's special duty pay. SDAP is not really that much if you look at it from an Air Force perspective. So what we would get is not really that much. It might just be to offset the extra stuff that is required of us. So if you look at other career fields that receive SDAP, it really isn't that much. So I really wouldn't. I would agree with Jack. That should not be a determining factor in whether or not you want to come here, because other career fields get it. And like I said, it's not really that a whole lot.
Perfect. Well, again, I want to thank all of our panel members for taking time out of your day. That's from me personally. I appreciate what you guys do. This is something that I can add to my personal recruiting toolbox. But at this time, I'll pass it back to Technical Sergeant Davis.
Awesome. Cool, everybody. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I know it's Friday. Everybody's ready to go start their weekend. So once again, I want to thank Chief Healy for taking time out to talk at the beginning of this. I want to thank Sergeant Levins. I don't know if you mind if we can get that slideshow. If you can email it to me, I can email it out to other recruiters. But a lot of great information on there. And I want to say thank you to all our panel members taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you had a busy week with the inauguration and everything going on. So thank all of y'all for all that you do. I'm pretty blessed to be so close to y'all, so I get to see a lot of it, get to tour your facilities. I had rifle team come out to one of my depth calls one time. So to have the opportunity to see y'all and all the great things you do day in and day out is amazing. If, like he said, check out the YouTube videos. They have a lot of great stuff out there. Watch it. If you're interested in Honor Guard, definitely reach out to your local recruiter. Let them help you, guide you, get you into the position you want to get into so we can make the Air Force better as a whole. Honor Guard is one of the most rewarding career fields you could possibly ever think of. So they're very humble, but they do amazing things day in and day out. So if you have any questions, find your recruiter, reach out to them. Airforce.com is where it's at. And then besides that, if we don't have any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and say bye. And I hope everybody has a great weekend and we see some of y'all in a ceremonial uniform one day. Any questions for me?